Good morning. I'm Governor Pat McCrory of the state of North Carolina. We want to give a Hurricane Matthew flooding update. I'd like to also introduce my good friend Monica McGee, who's been with us every day, helping communicate this very, very important information. Monica, thank you very much. We've actually got some good news today. First of all, we saw the best of North Carolina on our tour of Robeson County. And I saw people who were resilient. I saw people who were caring. I saw people who were risking their life to save other people. I saw volunteers just in the hundreds who are spending hours upon hours helping those in need. And I also saw people who are hurting right now and have no idea what their life's going to be today, tomorrow, much less next month or next year. But I did see the best of North Carolina, and I saw the Guard, the troopers, the sheriffs, the emergency workers, the police, all working together as a team, and I'm very, very proud of them under very, very difficult conditions. Still very, very difficult conditions where a lot of houses are still underwater, and downtown Lumberton is still underwater. And I just want to thank everyone for their incredible teamwork and compassion. I also have very good news that we have had no new fatalities during the past 24 hours. And that's just incredibly positive news. The first time we've had this news now in 9 days. And I'm just so pleased to hear that. We also have other good news regarding power outages have dramatically been reduced to 55,000 outages. And this is from a high of almost 900,000 outages. Now, 12,000 of those outages are in Robeson County. And this remains our total focus because that number of outages in that one county is a huge impact. The good news is we got the hospital turned on. I think we've had 3 of the 5 shelters, or 4 of the 6 shelters now have power, at least permanent power, while the others are working on generators at this time. I'm not sure if that's changed the past 10 hours or not. I also have some other good news. Is I want to thank the federal government for approving my request for public and individual federal assistance for Greene, Harnett, and Sampson counties. There are currently 17 counties declared for individual assistance and 34 for public assistance. Individual assistance is where the feds will come in and help with housing and food and other needs, where the 34 the 34 for public assistance will help the local governments with road repair, housing, and other needs. It's extremely important that we get these declarations, and we really do appreciate the excellent cooperation that we've had from FEMA. Preliminary damage assessments are ongoing, and we anticipate more counties will be added to the disaster declaration in the coming days. Now, I've got some other good news. The federal government, because of the expedited major disaster declaration on October 10th, the federal government has already dispersed $2.6 million to disaster survivors through the Individual Assistance Program. More than 14,000 North Carolinians have already registered for this program. But we've already dispersed $2.6 million, and we're dispersing the money as quick as we can through FEMA, and I'd like to thank the great coordinator from FEMA that is here today. I bragged on you to President Obama, so thank you very much. Also, we have just learned some other good news, that the federal government has approved $5 million of early release federal highway funds for emergency repairs in North Carolina, and that is, we just got that news within the last 5 minutes, and we're using that money already on some roads, for example, in Fayetteville, that are totally washed out, that we got to see about 2 or 3 days ago, and where a businessman was going, I've got 14 employees that aren't going to get paid as long as this road's coming so close to my business, and it makes my business a very dangerous location. We're fixing that road right now so those 14 employees can get back to work and earn a paycheck, and I was so moved by that. The owner of that business, who was more concerned about his employees than his business. And so we're moving as quickly as possible to help him and many others that are impacted by road closings. I do want to stress, however, that we've got a lot of damage on roads, and a lot of these roads are still underwater, and we do not yet know the damage assessment. And this is not an immediate thing where you can snap your fingers once the roads are clear of water that we'll be able to open those roads immediately, because we have to do serious engineering assessments, and we're not going to risk people's lives by reopening the roads just when the water is clear. We've got a lot of structural work to do, especially most of the road damages on bridges. And we're going to be checking those bridges out very, very closely. I also we've got good news regarding donations. The people of North Carolina and the country are stepping up to help those in need, and we need it now. There are people really, really hurt, and sadly, the poorest of the poor in North Carolina are the ones who are being hurt the most by these floods. Some of the neighborhoods that are impacted, for example, in Lumberton or Pembroke, or St. Paul, they're the poorest of the neighborhoods, and these people have nothing. And if you want to help, now's the time to help these people. And because they're sitting right now in high school gyms, their whole families, where their pets too, or sometimes with them, and in other places their pets have been taken away from them. And sadly, some of them have lost their pets, and it's their whole life they feel like they've lost. So we have activated the NC Disaster Relief Fund for Hurricane Matthew, the NC Disaster Relief Fund for Hurricane Matthew, to support long-term recovery efforts in partnership with the United Way of North Carolina. People or organizations that want to help ensure North Carolina recovers can visit ncdisasterrelief.org or text NC Recovers to 30306. And Mike, what number do we call if someone has water and clothes?
211, sir.
I've had a lot of calls just on my own cell phone. Hey, I've got a truckload of water, I can come. Where do I take it? Or I've got a truckload of clothes to help out. Anything, food. Dial 211 and we'll direct you immediately to a live person who will direct you on where we need that help right now. And we do need that help right now. It's just we got to make sure the logistics is well coordinated. I visited the Ag Center in Robinson County, and it's just amazing the number of clothes. Thank God we've got good, clear weather where we can distribute the clothes and other supplies right now in good weather, and we hope that continues. But we're going to be getting into colder weather now where the conditions won't be as good, and I don't know when the rain's planning to come either. So we want to move as quick as possible. Now, we have three major priorities right now. The stabilization of Robinson County, the responding to the new flooding in Edgecombe, Pitt, Lenoir, Pender, Greene, Bladen, and other counties, and continuing the initiation of recovery and relief operations in those counties in which the storm and most of the damage has already been examined. For example, in the Fayetteville area. Let me give you an update on the stabilization of Robinson County. Yesterday I visited Lumberton and did get to see a firsthand look at the relief efforts. We now have 147 National Guard troops in Robinson County to perform security and resupply missions. We have reassigned 60 National Guard soldiers to support the Robinson County Sheriff and provide security in Fairmount. Fairmount, by the way, while I was doing a press conference yesterday in Lumberton, we were getting very good reviews from both Lumberton and Pembroke, and we were very pleased to see that, because 48 hours we were not getting real good reviews because of the immediacy of the situation, and things have improved dramatically because of the teamwork. But the town manager of Fairmount just happened to come up to us and says, wait a minute, we have a neighborhood of 500 or 600 people that is flooded in sewage at this point in time, and a lot of people are still in their houses. Can you imagine? They're still in their houses and they were afraid to leave their house, even in the sewage, because they were afraid of vandalism. And so we coordinated with the county sheriff, who was right next to me, and we're getting the National Guard soldiers to help evacuate these people, get them into shelters, and also protect their belongings. I mean, can you imagine? You don't want to leave your house because you don't want looters coming into your neighborhood. I get it, but at the same time, these are very, very dangerous conditions. So I'd like to thank the town manager and one of the county commissioners that came up to us and gave us that latest up-to-date information. We continue to support the County Emergency Operations Center with some of our top emergency management experts. It's a huge management responsibility. And Mike, I'd like to thank you for sending a lot of people there who have high-level management expertise. We have also deployed 50 highway patrol troopers to provide additional law enforcement support and to escort supplies from Fort Bragg to the county. We're continuing to push supplies, including food, water, children's supplies, cots, and blankets into Robinson County. And that's very, very important. So many children I saw yesterday. It broke my heart, but they were so appreciative. I mean, I've just never met a more resilient and grateful people in my life. And it will move me for the rest of my life, and knowing what they've gone through. Pharmaceuticals is a huge issue right now, and I want to thank Walmart, who are shipping pharmaceuticals to shelters where we're trying to get the longest prescriptions dates that we can from how many days?
7 to about 30.
We're trying to get from 7 to 30-day prescriptions to people in the shelters who need medicine right now. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate Walmart and their assistance there. And we'll be working with others in the industry to help us. Our next focus for those people in the shelters is to move the occupants into hotels or into rental properties. We want to get these people out of shelters so they have more privacy, so they have more dignity, so they have better care, so they can be with their families and reunited also with their pets if possible. We are coordinating with FEMA to identify this housing for misplaced or displaced people. And then our next goal is to get them into possible some FEMA housing, permanent for a while at least, until they get to rebuild their homes or find permanent homes elsewhere. It's a major challenge, and again, FEMA is a very, very important partner for us. We need to get these people out of these shelters and help them out as much as possible. Plus, so many of these shelters at our high schools, and we're going to have to reopen the high schools. We also have an issue in this county, Robinson County, where the headquarters for the school system has an environmental issue because of diesel fuel. We're moving people there to clean that up as quick as possible too, but they're going to have to find a new building to go to. That their building in downtown Lumberton's been, it's not going to be inhabitable for a long, long time. So they've got major issues, and I think they still had 2 or 3 elementary schools underwater. So they've just got major challenges. Okay, now we've got our next issue, and that's to respond to new flooding that is going to be peaking today and during the next 24 hours in Edgecombe, Pitt, Lenoir, Pender, Greene, Bladen, and other counties. Right after this, I'm going to go visit Goldsboro and Kinston. That's our goal today, right after this, to see the planning, meet with the mayors, and I just want to compliment the elected leaders and the staffs of the county and city governments for the outstanding evacuation that they've done in those areas. The Neuse River is forecasted to reach above record levels. The Neuse River at Goldsboro has exceeded record stage, and the good news is it's currently receding, but it has already exceeded the record stage of that river. The Neuse River at Kinston is forecast to crest near record stage late Friday. It's in Kinston, and they're doing a great job of preparing for that. The Northeast Cape River, Fear River at Burgaw is currently cresting at this point in time, and we're going to be trying to give as much help to that town as possible. We need to see what the conditions are and respond to them like we're responding in Lumberton. The Tar River at Tarboro is currently cresting. The Tar River at Greenville is forecast to peak early Friday morning, and this is a change from the last report. So it's going to be Friday morning peak at this point in time. The river, by the way, near the airport, by the way, we understand parts of the airport are underwater right now. There's a bridge right near it. Our goal is to try to keep that open. Right, Nick? But if it gets dangerous, we're going to close it. But right now we have 1 lane open, and we feel confident that the structure will hold. But if any water starts going over the bridge, but current estimates is we think we can keep that bridge open. Is that north-south or east-west? North-south driving, hopefully we'll keep open in that area. There have been evacuations ordered for the city of Greenville, the town of Princeville, which we want to visit as quick as possible to see what the conditions of Princeville are. Princeville was, of course, the town that was basically destroyed during Hurricane Floyd in 1999, so our hearts and prayers with the people of Princeville. It's a town with a lot of poverty, and people are hurting, and we want to do everything we can to help them. And we're going to do that, just that. The Black River Basin in Pender County, Bladen County, and various areas of Lenoir County, in anticipation of flood causing by the river cresting. We're also having evacuations. There is still an ongoing evacuation order in Moore County for Wood Lake Dam. Pumps have been placed at Wood Lake Dam to draw down the water level. We have ordered more pumps that will be in place today, and we're also sending pumps to Princeville area to draw down the water levels there. It's very difficult to draw down water because you got to have a place to put it. But Princeville is one of our major goals today to help that town. The statewide status, we've had 2,200, almost 2,300 rescues to date. The good news is the search and rescue is slowing down dramatically, and that's very, very good news. We have 1,083 National Guard with 360 vehicles have been activated. We have 2 special medical support shelters continue operations in Johnson and Wayne counties. 33 school systems are closed. The Baptist men, wow. By the way, a lot of women are involved too. I went to go see their food shelter yesterday in Lumberton, literally a mile from the major flooding, and they're doing drive-in delivery of food. People are driving through, they deliver the food to thousands upon thousands of people in that county, and hundreds of volunteers at the Baptist Men Church, and the women and men are just working great, and they have a temporary kitchen in the parking lot of their church. They're operating kitchens in Fayetteville, Lumberton, Kinston, Rocky Mountain, Whiteville. The Greenville kitchen is scheduled to open tomorrow. What an incredible organization. 43 shelters are open with 3,300, almost 3,400 shelter occupants. A big issue we're having right now is water systems, and I think that's the immediate issue, especially in Robinson County and Gates County. The water sewer, the delivery of water. I was asked the question, if there's a fire, what do we do? It's going to be a challenge. So our goal is to, hopefully the water will recede, we'll be able to repair their water system as quick as possible. I mean, can you imagine what these people have been going through for days now without water? And so we're trying to fix that as quick as possible, but the water has to recede more to do that. We also know our agricultural community has been hit hard. As floodwaters recede, we're working to determine the total impact on the agricultural livestock. Preliminary reports show that millions of birds have been impacted. And we've got a disposal program to deal with that right now. We'd like to thank the cities and counties that are cooperating in the disposal of these birds. But the ag community has been hit very, very hard. And we want to do everything we can to support them. Their livelihood's been impacted too, and we're not even talking about the crops at this point in time, and we'll get a bit better feel of that in the coming days. Roads closed. I-95 remains closed from Lumberton to Fayetteville. Transportation crews are working around the clock to get the interstate reopened, and repairs are underway. Nick, is the water done there, or is it still over? The Lumberton area, the water is still very high over I-95, and I saw it late yesterday, and there's no place for the water to go, and that's the problem. The 7-mile stretch of westbound I-40 near Newton Grove is closed. The transportation officials closed US 70 near Kinston last night due to rapidly rising floodwaters. A detour is in place. US 64 between the Tar River and NC 33 in Edgecombe County is closed in both directions last night due to flooding. There is a detour in place, and drivers need to be aware. I cannot stress this much. Drivers, that includes truckers too, need to be aware that you cannot rely on your GPS for road closure and detour information. You need to dial 511 or visit readync.org for the latest road closure updates. The problem is a lot of the GPS are based upon software and they're not updated, and we're having people follow their GPS and they just run into other water. And those could be very dangerous conditions, especially during the evening hours. The recovery operations, the Joint Field Office will be open next week in the Raleigh-Durham area with several hundred FEMA employees working with us on the grant programs. Also, disaster recovery centers will be opening in the next few days to help flood victims register for state and federal assistance. We hope to make an announcement shortly on unemployment benefits, and we're looking at how to better streamline and get unemployment benefits quickly for those people who are now unemployed due to this flood, and we hope to make that announcement literally within the next several hours. I'm going to put a waiver on some unemployment benefit processes so people can immediately seek those funds through executive order. And so we're working on that right now. We're just trying to get the technicalities worked on. So with that, we'd be glad to answer any questions. I appreciate the media that is still here and engaged in this issue. It's very, very important that you help us communicate. With that, are there any questions? Thank you very much. Thank you for your resilience, and thank you for your compassion. God bless each one of you, and may God continue to bless the great state of North Carolina.